All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Thursday, October 24th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. Clayton, we are right now in our respective homes in New York City. But last night, we were together in New York on stage for probably I would say one of the greatest shows New York has ever seen. The live New York City BO Boys Box Office Save America. I mean, it was a real happening. This was New York City downtown in its prime, CBGB era.
This was like the factory in the 60s.
Yeah. This New York was for one night cool again, the way it used to be because of the BO Boys. And, New York is great, but it hasn't been this cool in a long time. We brought the cool factor back. What a show. I mean, was it everything you hoped it would be being on stage in New York City?
I mean, it just solidifies the fact that New York City is the greatest city in the world. I mean, Listen, the LA show was great. We did great.
Yeah.
But it's not New York.
It's not New
York. It never will be.
Yeah, which is fine. It doesn't have to be. It's got the Hollywood sign. It's got the Paramount lot. It's got all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not New York, and it doesn't have to be. But New York is New York. What a show. It was fantastic. We packed out the Parkside Lounge on the Lower East Side. Great venue. Thank you to the Parkside Lounge. Thanks to all the wanna-BO boys, wanna-BO girls, wanna-BO people. I mean, they brought it last night. They were on fire. This was the type of crowd, heyday of New York, I'll say it, the type of crowd that saw the Strokes in the early 2000s. That's the level of New York City crowd we were talking about last night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we, gave a shout out to our hometown. Yeah. And that was great. A lot of New York-based stuff going on, which may or may not make it to the edit.
Yeah.
Right. Of the show.
Well, so this episode, I mean, we're gonna plow in a minute. We're gonna do a couple of things up top, but for the most part, this episode you're gonna hear segments from last night's New York City live show. So you're gonna hear Brett from The New Flesh was on stage with us. We go over Smile 2's opening weekend and a lot of the big weekend box office stories. We do that with Brett. We also have, I mean, what a heated segment we had with the great comedian Sean Donnelly, good friend of ours. Incredible segment where we sent him to go see Terrifier 3 against his will. He's terrified of these movies. And we go over that with him live on stage. And that is a classic New York City moment, was us on stage with Sean Donnelly talking about Terrifier 3.
Oh, for sure.
And you guys got into it. You guys got into the back and forth, and I think it's going to be an exchange that is going to be remembered for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
So you get that segment. You get not one. In LA, we did one audience participation game. New York City got two. We did two huge games that you're going to hear. Great audience members came up on stage, so thank you to them for playing. So you're going to hear those games. You're going to hear all of our live segments with Brett and with Sean. And, you're not going to get the videos. You're not going to get the monologue because, those we use throughout the tour. So you got to come to the Boston show November 16th with KIRK if you want to hear the BO Boys monologue and see those videos. But you will get the other New York specific segments from last night because, I mean, it's amazing. We go from city to city. And we basically whole new show almost every time.
Yeah. Yep.
It's incredible. So
we don't recycle material. We don't recycle material.
We'll recycle some material because those are the ones we're not putting on tonight's podcast episode. But the amount of material that is new every episode is just staggering.
Yes. It's about 25% recycled material, 75% all new.
Yeah.
Which is a great percentage.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, listen, you go to a Rolling Stones concert, it's 100% recycled material. And I'm not saying their material is better or worse than our recycled material. That's for other people to judge. But it's all recycled material when you go see the Rolling Stones.
As soon as they sing the song one time live,
Yeah.
it's then recycled from then on.
Yes.
So the only
Yes.
time you're not getting recycled Rolling Stone material is if they put out a new album and the first show of that tour. That is when you get maybe 0.06% new.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, it's all 100% recycled.
It's all 100% recycled, which good for them. They you know what? Good for them. We're not here to start an online feud with the Rolling Stones. That's not what we're up to today. So you're going to hear all those segments on this episode, so get excited for that. But Clayton, we don't plow, or at least we didn't plow on the live show last night.
No, it's too dangerous to plow in person.
It's hard to plow in public.
Mm-hmm.
You got to plow in private. So why don't we, it's the middle of the week, but I think people still want to hear this plow. So could you give us a box office plow for the weekend of Friday, October 18th?
Number 1, Smile 2 made $23 million in its first weekend. Number 2, The Wild Robot made $10 million, only down 28%. It lost 25 theaters. It's over 100. It's at $101.7 million in its fourth weekend of release. Number 3, Terrifier 3 made $9.3 million, down 51%. It added 248 theaters. It's at $36.2 million in its second weekend. Number 4, Beetlejuice made $5 million, down only 32%. It lost 157 theaters. It's at $283.9 million in its seventh weekend of release. And then number 5, a movie we did not talk about in the live show, We Live in Time, an A24 release starring Andrew Garfield and Miss Flo, made $4.1 million, and it's at $4.5 million in its second weekend of release. Its first weekend of release was very, very limited.
So, yeah, you'll hear on the live show, we talk a lot about Smile, Beetlejuice, and Wild Robot. So We Live in Time. It did better than we were expecting. Way better. And we did say, we theorized that A24 should have done what they usually do and cut a trailer for this movie where it looks like it's going to be a horror movie, where they lie to the audience and pretend it's a horror movie, and then people show up and it's not a horror movie, but that's what A24 does. They didn't do it for We Live in Time. And Clayton, do you think that was the smart move, or do you think they could have made double this amount if they had made the horror movie trailer for We Live in Time?
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have made double the amount, but I think this is positive that people wanted to see the genuine product here. Like, I do think that is positive. I think this speaks volumes for Miss Flo. I think this speaks volumes for Andrew Garfield, because they are, I mean, Miss Flo, of course, is young. Andrew Garfield is young-ish.
Yeah.
But in the scheme of stars, he's still young.
Right.
I mean, he's not Harrison Ford.
Yes. Andrew Garfield, much younger than Harrison Ford. So I agree. This is a great sign. They didn't have to pretend it was a horror movie, and it still made almost $5 million. And it had a really good per screen average. I think that's something to look at. Is it averaged it averaged $4,250 per screen, and the number one movie, Smile 2, averaged $6,000 per screen. So pretty close to the per screen average of the number one movie. So people wanted to see this. And honestly, there's no real reason to want to see this other than the stars. So I think, it's really a big win for these stars.
When you look at something like Goodrich, which we talked about extensively, that did not make the top 10. In fact, it was at number 16.
Oh my God.
At $630,000.
Wow.
So obviously not a breakout, but that was a movie that we were like, well, it's the sort of movie people say they want. Well, We Live in Time is a movie people say they want, and they prove that they do want it, at least in a small quantity.
Yeah. Goodrich, Ketchup Entertainment put that out. I'll throw this out right now. Tomorrow, Ketchup Entertainment has to go down to City Hall and change its name. You cannot release movies in a serious way under the banner Ketchup Entertainment.
And not mustard entertainment, mayo entertainment, no
No.
condiments. Sriracha entertainment, no.
No.
None of that stuff.
No. No mayo mustardaise entertainment.
No, not even Chili Crisp, which is hot right now. Chili Crisp.
Nope.
Having a moment, as they say. Chili Crisp entertainment, no.
No foods, but definitely no spreads.
No spreads.
Yeah, nothing that could be in a squeeze bottle.
Well, because here's the thing about it. If you said meat and potatoes entertainment, that's a meal.
Mm-hmm.
Ketchup is nothing by itself.
Yeah.
Mustard, mayo, these are nothing by themselves. You don't want to name your studio after something that is nothing by itself.
Right. That is a last resort. If someone is eating ketchup for a meal, they are either a child,
mm-hmm.
right? A child who gets to do whatever they want. They just wanted ketchup packets for entertainment,
or divorced man,
or they are a divorced man, or someone who's in dire straits.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I think, what people hear presented by Ketchup Entertainment. They think of either a child on the loose or a divorced man in dire straits. Mm-hmm. And that does not make you want to go rush out to the theater, especially to see a serious movie. Ketchup Entertainment presenting National Lampoon's, Banana Fest 7, sure. Then whatever. That could be a thing. But you can't have Ketchup Entertainment presenting this dramedy with Michael Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to work. So tomorrow, City Hall, they got to change the name of that company. It can't be to another item that's in a squeeze bottle.
Make yourself a respectable studio production company.
Yes. So we talk about, is there anything else from the weekend results that...
No, there's nothing to talk about here.
So we also, in the live show, you're going to hear us go over Venom, and we give our predictions. That's a great segment. We all give our numbers for the weekend. We also get the live crowd to give a number, which is so maybe this episode
we have the right prediction. If you can decipher if there's somebody better at this than me, to individually, isolate all of the crowd members.
Right.
One of those crowd members is going to be spot on.
Yes, because we had, 80 plus people in that room. They all yelled out a number at the same time. The law of averages is one of those people nailed it exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about just an industrious audio editor listening to the show, isolating that one crowd member who nailed it. Or it could have been one of us on stage who nailed it.
It's
it could
true.
have been
we
me.
could have too.
Yeah, it could have been. It wouldn't have been me because you'll hear it on the show. I give a very live show prediction, something that I would never give, in this context where I'm playing to the crowd. So you can't really hold me to what I say on this live show episode.
But for that audio, we need Gene Hackman's character from The Conversation and from Enemy of the State.
Same guy.
Because they're supposed to be the same guy.
It's the same guy, yeah.
Just like in Jaws and Piranha 3D.
Okay.
The character that is played by what's his face? I can't remember. Mr. Holland's Opus.
Richard Dreyfuss?
Richard Dreyfuss.
The same
guy.
That
is the same character as well. Yes.
Oh wow, that's huge. That's huge.
Isn't
that's
that
a
big?
Huge breaking story. Yeah. So So get to it. Isolate the one correct prediction out of that audience on Monday morning. And I think you'll go viral with that on TikTok. I think that would be huge. So you'll hear our Venom predictions. I'm looking at the tracking on this as of now. The range for Venom's opening is $60 to $80 million. So the predictions are lower than what either of the first two Venom movies opened up with. So the tracking on this is not great, but we're going to see. So I got a prediction Clayton, that is not on the live show, got a prediction from our friend from the Direct, from the Cinema Spending podcast, David Thompson, who, as of now, is going to be our guest on the results episode in a few days. He's very excited about this. He texted me his prediction that he wanted aired on tonight's episode. David Thompson is predicting that he's going big, $82 million for the opening weekend of Venom 3.
Love it.
Yeah, so he's going big.
He's bullish.
I will give one other piece of information from someone who attended the B.O. Boys live show last night. She heard us talking about Venom 3. She feels we were all low on it. This listener who is in the podcast, huge name in the podcasting industry. Other than that, I'm not going to give any hints. Keep her
I don't
anonymity.
even know who this is.
So she says we're going low on this because we're discounting the female audience for Tom Hardy. And specifically, she sent me a video that is a compilation of all of Tom Hardy's grunts throughout his many movies. He's big with the grunts, and the ladies love Tom Hardy's grunting.
Oh, I know who this is now.
Yep. So
now I know who this secret big and they are. I mean,
they're huge.
To say that they're big in the podcast industry is. I mean, they're also big in other industries too.
Yes. Yeah. So this
is a real player.
Yeah, this is a real player. She knows podcasting. She knows relationships. She knows what audiences want.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's the main thing is this person I'm talking about. She knows what audiences want. And she's saying that we are discounting how much the female audience wants to go out and pay to hear Tom Hardy grunt. And maybe we did, you know.
But do they not want to be tracked? And that's the thing. Or is this going to be walk-ups because they don't want to be tracked? They want to go up and they want to be like, I'm here for the grunts. Give me the grunt movie.
Yes.
As opposed to having the paper trail.
Exactly. So these females.
This is cash in hand sliding across and being like, you know what I'm here for.
Yes. Just wet, soggy cash that they're handing to the box office and say, give me a ticket to the Tom Hardy grunt movie.
Mm-hmm.
Very possible, because I will say we're going to see this movie on Saturday night, this Venom 3. And I bought the tickets today on an app because I'm okay with being tracked for this movie. And
well, we could write it off on our taxes. That's why we like to be tracked.
Yes. As long as we're tracked, then we can write it off. And the ticket sales for a Saturday night showing at a big theater were not great. So it's not looking good based on that. But yeah, maybe this female audience, they don't want to be tracked. They just want to hand over some soggy cash money and hear Tom Hardy grunt. So that could be what saves this movie this weekend.
But I mean, the fact that these are soft and this is the last Venom movie, at least with Tom Hardy, until they back up the Brinks truck, because we all know that, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is going to come back as Iron Man at some point. Like, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So everybody will come back if there's enough money involved. So, but I mean, there's supposed to be some sort of connection to the MCU at large at the end of this movie, and nobody seems to care. Like, you would think that this would be tracking very high because the Bazinga Bros and the Bazinga Boys would be coming would be coming out to be the first to see this stinger, because that's what it's going to be, a stinger, and there doesn't seem to be any buzz about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think with Venom, the fans of that sort of thing, the Bazinga Bros, have been burned in the past because Venom has done stingers where they sort of mock the idea of a connection.
Well, they put him in the MCU and then they put him right back.
Right. But within the same stinger, they basically untied that knot. If I remember correctly, the stinger for Venom 2 basically undid itself within the same stinger. You know, I may be wrong, but I never am, so I'm not. I'm pretty sure the Venom stingers never deliver. And so I don't think any Bazinga Bros would have much faith in there being a Venom stinger that gives you much besides a joke.
Yeah.
So yeah, it may be up to the ladies and the grunt fans to turn this into a bigger hit than the tracking is letting on. So we will see. We will see. And we'll be back in the next episode as of right now. And obviously he's a busy man, so his schedule may change. But David Thompson of The Direct is scheduled to be on the weekend recap results episode for Venom 3. So Clayton, I think it's time we just let people hear segments from the New York City live show.
Yes.
So let's go to that again. You're not getting the videos. You're not getting the monologue. You got to come to Boston November 16th to see that part. We'll also have KIRK Minihan as our guest throughout the entire show in Boston. That's going to be gigantic, but you are going to get audience games. You're going to get all of our live segments with our guests, Brett Arnold and Sean Donnelly. And did we have anything more than that? This New York City show was so much fun. The audience was on fire. And yeah, I think let's just cut over to that and let's take a trip to New York City.